Jonas Rosenberg, how you doing, my brother?
I'm really good. How are you?
Last time we saw each other, if I remember right, we were in just outside of Phoenix, if I remember right.
Yeah, Arizona. It was absolutely beautiful down there for the 10X retreat.
Yeah, for the sales summit. That was eye-opening, man. You guys really got it going on. I'm just telling you, that was impressive. It really was.
So I'm intrigued, Carl, from an outsider's perspective. Why do you say that?
Um, I don't think I've seen so many high producers in one area. And when I say one area, sitting down in one spot, at that event, it was the highest average for closings of the attendees of anything I've ever been to before.
Wow.
Yeah, that was impressive. It was impressive. And don't get me wrong, I've been at things where there's like 10 of us sitting in a room and
Sure.
and they're, knocking the leather off the ball, right? I'm not talking about a small little get together, or I'm talking about like at an event where there's more, I don't know, more than say, I don't know, and there was much more than that, but more than 50 people at where the vast majority was really doing extremely well. So that was impressive. I tell you the other thing I liked about it too, which I guess goes back to the same thing. Uh, Usually we go to these events and I don't know, there's a certain amount of, I don't know, what do you call it? I always call it sizzle, but no bacon. So, and what I mean by that is like people will talk about topics that sound exciting, sexy, fun, hip, new way of doing things that all the top producers know. They're the person, and I mean this with all with respect, right? I'm not bashing anybody, but all the top producers know, all right, that's all for sizzle. It's all to look cool, but it's not going to close any more loans. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Like,
it's great until it's the flavor of the week. It's great until they move on to the next thing next week.
yeah, and it seemed to be really really a kind of a small amount of activities that actually moves the needle, and most of the other stuff is just a little bit of sizzle that makes the events fun. Don't get me wrong, right? So I go to those events and go, wow, that was really cool. And then you look up the production of the person doing the presentation. You go, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, they don't actually. Most of them don't actually even do loans. And
It's
so
funny
that
that you say that.
so that was the so you're so that event we went to might have been, as I'm sitting here thinking, I think it's the only event that I've been to in recent years where 100% of the presenters were top producing. They were either top producing loan officers or top producing branch managers or both.
Absolutely.
So it was
And I was
impressive.
just going through my head and yeah, Robin and Jimmy, they're both branch managers. So absolutely, all of us coaches are either branch managers or producing loan officers.
And at a high level.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, at a high level. So where you located at, man?
So I tell everybody I'm in the state of Washington, but we have one office over on a small island right outside of Seattle, and then we have another office over in Tri-Cities, Washington, which is right by the Oregon-Idaho border.
Are you from there?
So originally from Whidbey Island, which is the office over by Seattle, and then found my way over here in my 20s and decided that Tri-Cities was a wonderful place to raise my family.
Nice. Good for you, man. I've spent a little bit of time in Seattle, as tourists, going to the fish market and all the,
Oh yeah,
the original,
absolutely.
the original Starbucks and, the typical touristy, kind of like going to Florida and going to Disney. Well, of course you've been to Disney, right? Um, so I haven't spent a ton of time there. But I have to tell you, your next door neighbor, Oregon, you mentioned at the Washington, Oregon, Idaho corner. I went to Oregon one time and stumbled upon an area called the Oregon Outback.
Never, where's that at?
Brother, you've got to Google that.
Okay, I'm writing it down right
It's
now because I
it's
am I am somebody who loves to travel, and I just was actually in Klamath Falls, Oregon, most beautiful country I've ever seen. So tell me about this.
so this is totally different, and we're going to talk about loans here, but this is totally different. This is totally, and maybe we won't. This is totally different. You think of Oregon and Washington, forests, logging,
Yep.
trees, mountains. This is none of that. I didn't see a tree for 50 miles.
Oh, you
So
must have been in Eastern Oregon, up by us in Tri-Cities.
that's exactly where it was. It was Eastern Oregon, and
Okay.
I was leaving Bend. I got a dear friend of mine from Air Force days that lives in Bend, and I was driving from Bend to Reno, and somebody told me you got to go to that do the Oregon Outback, like the Australian Outback, and some thermal activity. Where steam's coming out of the
Yep.
ground.
Yep.
Dude, it was stunning. I went there in the spring, and the desert was in bloom, and oh my God, it was just to die
So
for.
when most people think of Seattle and Oregon, they think of the trees and the ocean and the beauty. In this office that I'm sitting at right now in Tri-Cities, it's actually considered a high desert. In the summertime, it does get 110 here. We don't have cactus, but we definitely have tumbleweeds. So yeah, people always have this vision of whales jumping out of oceans, but you cross the Snoqualmie Pass, you drive right into Eastern Oregon, which is all the wheat fields and the desert, and then, or excuse me, Eastern Washington, then where you were at, right into Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, and so come to find out, those tumbleweeds bloom,
Yes, sir.
and
And they attack your car too. Be careful, they're
yes,
vicious.
they I did. It was, dude, I felt like the Marlboro Man riding through there. It
That's
was.
fantastic.
I thought all I need is an iron horse and a leather jacket, and I just fit right in. With a, not that I smoke, but with a Marlboro sticking out of my mouth or something like that. But anyway,
I told you earlier, I found Tri Cities when I was 20 and I called my dad and I said, "Where am I? I don't feel like I'm in Washington anymore. Where am I?"
wow.
But it's just crazy. It's amazing when you drive over that mountain, the change of scenery.
Yeah, it was night and day. It was beautiful for our listeners. If you ever get a chance, or just Google Oregon Outback in the
Yes, sir.
spring, and oh, just stunning place. Almost nobody there, so it was very sparsely populated. Is probably being generous. I think there was like 5 houses in 100 miles, so it
Yeah,
was impressive.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, Spokane, of course, is there. Gonzaga's in Washington. And then as you start heading into that Oregon Outback, as you call it, that's the ride that I make when I go see my friends in Boise.
oh
I go
yeah.
straight from Tri-Cities through that area to get up
Mhm.
into Boise. So yeah, there
Yeah.
is a lot of open land there. It's wonderful.
All right. Well, I'd almost rather talk about this, but I know it took me 2 weeks to get through your agent to schedule this, so I don't want to squander the opportunity here. So bring me up to speed here a little bit. So I know the answers to these, but just for our listeners, banker, broker, branch manager, loan officer, district manager, kind of give us a 30-second of who you are.
I'm a loan officer at Summit Funding. I've been here for 11 years. And when you asked me about coaching earlier, I was trying to come up with a date, but I believe I've been coaching for Jimmy and Todd for 6 years now.
All right, good for you. And so you run. So are you loan officer or branch manager?
I'm a loan officer. I work for Robin Lavasser and Dave Kammerer.
Uh, I've spoken to both of those. Impressive, right? Very, very,
Oh,
very
yeah.
impressive. Yeah. So, well, let's start with production, man. So where are you at? Like, who are you?
So I was with a team. Carl, I'm going to tell you right now, I got to be careful here. I was with the team. My team went to another mortgage company last year.
Okay.
So, Carl, it was one of the most challenging
Mm,
years that I've had. My team at its peak did for over 400 units in a year. It was another loan officer and myself, and he made a decision to go to this other company. And because of the culture and what Todd and Jimmy and Robin put together, I actually made the decision to stay.
good for you, man.
So my transition, it's been a work in progress.
Yeah.
This year, I believe I'll end up at about 70 units for about 24 million. Just to see, they'll see how December
Yeah.
comes together. And Carl, I'm dang proud of it. Coming from where we were, I had a lot of growth because I went from a full back end team to working with a brand new person. And this woman is wonderful. And my actually it's an LP1 and an LP2. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful people. It's just been an interesting year of growth and looking in on myself and breaking some bad habits this year.
All right. Well, this is going a different direction I thought, but I like the way this is going. So, let me write myself a couple notes here. So you went from you and another loan officer. You had a team, 400
I,
units.
I, I want to make sure I'm saying this correct, but I think there were six of us.
Okay. And so y'all worked as a team, 400 units. Some of them did. Some of them went to a new place.
Yes, sir. All of
And
them. I
all
was
of
I
them.
was the only one
Wow.
that stayed.
All but you. Interesting. And so you lost all of your assistants,
Yes, sir.
lost your processor, I would take it.
Yes, sir.
And so you started a brand new team.
I in the 11th hour when the decisions were being made, Robin Lavasser called me and she said, "Would you like to work with me?" And talk about an opportunity of a
Yeah,
lifetime. I
who would say no to that?
got on the phone with her and talked to her for a while, and she said, "You'd be under the Eugene umbrella." She said, "There's going to be some growth here, but would you like to come to work for me?" And I decided to take it.
Good for you, man. I really like Robin. So I just met her, and actually we haven't met in person yet. I just met her on a Zoom. I
If
don't know.
she's listening to this, she's going to smile. I call her my Obi-Wan for personal and for business. When I run into trouble, I pick up the phone and call, and she's been there for me every time.
Yeah, yeah, she's a smart cookie.
Yes,
Where
sir.
I come from, what we call that is she knows where the gas goes, so really,
Yes,
really
sir.
smart cookie. So, all right. So what was it like? So you went from a high level team that my suspicion is was running pretty tip top.
Running tip top, but I did not realize some of the bad habits I was developing. Um, to say that correctly, I pushed. When
Tell me
when
what
when when
t
I
t
wanted to do
tell me-
that many units, I pushed, and there were nights where I had my team working at 7 and 8 o'clock at night. And if any of my team are out there, a year ago I wouldn't have apologized. Today I finally recognize that's not healthy.
Hmm.
And so, with that being said, I came into this new situation with these bad habits and expectations of what we used to do, and came to find out real quickly it wasn't just not healthy for my team, but it also wasn't healthy for me to be discounting my wife and other things in my life to continue banging away at this job late into the night and on weekends and on holidays, etc., etc.
Brother, been there, done that, helped write the song, So
Yeah.
I had an awakening. My awakening came about. So I've been doing this for a while. So I think it was around 2002 or three or four, somewhere around there. I had a while ago, but I had an awakening. I was doing the same thing, man. And you know what killed me, Jonas? My father was a great man, right? And my father was a great father, but he worked all the time. And it messed with me. It's still to this day. I tell people it still messes with me. Now he's been dead now for I don't know 25 years, I guess, something like that. But here I am, a grown man, um, and it still messes with me. And knowing that it messed with me, I still followed in the tracks and was doing the exact same
Yes,
thing
sir.
myself.
Yes, sir. I'm a son of a fry cook. He was a restaurant owner, and the man worked probably some months, 7 days a week, just trying to keep it all together. And I've always told my son it's that interesting balance of doing what's right for your family, yet not looking back at the end of the day and going, "I regret," because that's a word I just don't want in my life anymore.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, I do have regrets. The good news for me, I think my kids. I think they were young enough that they don't remember me working all the time
Good.
because they were small. So I'm grateful for that. And they might have slight memories of it, but by far they were yeah. So that was a painful time. You know what the good news is for guys like me and you, Jonas, is it sounds like for you the same it is for me. I had a wife that wants to spend time with me,
Yes.
and
Yes, and mine puts up with me even more because a lot of the times when I'm here in this office in Tri-Cities, she's actually on Whidbey Island, 4 hours away. So she puts up with me a lot, but definitely we're working on getting to spend time with her about 3 weeks out of the month now.
so how did you make it so that like when you transition from working nights, evenings, weekends, holidays, and whatnot, and then I'm taking it you somehow you're not doing that now. Did you call it like how did you keep people from calling you 24/7 like they must have been in the past? How'd you what did you change your phone number? Did you tell them hey you just didn't answer your phone? Like what that look like?
So my favorite word in that I get to teach my students is non-negotiables. My non-negotiables started coming in real hard when my beautiful wife told me that's enough.
Hmm.
And in 15 years, she's never said anything like that. And we sat down and talked, and she goes, honey, you travel back and forth, and I get left here alone, and I did not sign up for this.
Hmm.
So I picked up the phone and called Robin and called Jim Reed and said, need some help. And that's the cool part about coaching that I just like so much, Carl's. It's not always just mortgage. I have people when my favorite human being passed away. These people were right here with me. I have
Hmm.
people for every aspect of my life, and I never thought I don't want to overstate it and think that my wife and I were going down a bad road, but if I was still having those habits, we
I
could
get
have been
it.
going down that road.
I get it.
So we made some non-negotiables. The first one that she asked was you spend 3 weeks a month at this office. Well, I'm on month number 2 of it, and last month was absolutely wonderful, spending 3 weeks out of the month with her. The other ones are times when I can and cannot answer the phone. And as I share my students, I always thought that you had to pick up the phone at Sunday at night. Matter of fact, Carl, I trained my realtors to do that. Call me anytime was always my words.
Hmm.
Call me anytime. I'll pick up the phone at any time. You just call me. Well, I trained them, and then later on, I started to get frustrated with them for doing it. And my wife's looking at me and going, you dummy, you told them to do it.
Yeah.
And so your question is wonderful because I spend a lot of time in my coaching talking to my loan officers who have young families and talking to everything else. And my statement is, do you really want to miss Billy hitting the home run? Because
Mm.
you're talking to an old guy that when his kid was on the football field, he was overtaking an application,
Yeah.
introducing himself to a new applicant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to answer your question, sir, it's hard. It's absolutely hard because let's be honest, Carl, we're addicted to it. I absolutely love the hunt. I absolutely love helping people. I love building what we've all built. But at some time, you wake up and realize I'm 50 years old, and how many more moments do I want to miss
Hmm.
in that extra time? So we just drew lines of, hey, this is when I'm working, and this is when I'll change the cell phone to, hey, I'll call you back the next morning. One of my students has an amazing answering machine. It says if it's after the hours of 6 o'clock, I'll call you back the first morning at 8. And I've actually copied that. I really enjoy it.
I like that. I was a bit surprised when I discovered that I could close yet even more loans when I'm not working the evenings and the weekends because I've got more energy.
Oh,
And
that's interesting. I like that.
yeah, and I equate it, Jonas, is like if we're in a like if you see a boxer and one of the boxers in between rounds sits in his chair, drinks water, gets a little ice put around him, he's recharging his battery, catches a breath, words of encouragement, from his for his side man. And then the other one in between rounds is having to do jumping jacks, sit ups, and push ups. Knowing nothing else, who do you think is going to win that fight?
The one that relaxed and took a breath for a moment.
That's right. That's right. And so I found for me that was just a critical part. And I think the damage, seeing that I don't know if damage is the right word, but maybe to seeing how it affected me by my father working all the time and vowing once I saw myself repeating the process, to not do that again. It's been, I don't know, it's just it surprised me on how easy it is. And how easy it is not to work the evenings and weekends. And frankly, now I think it's easier than ever, because we can start to use technology a little bit. So, hey,
Absolutely.
how do you bring in I got two things I want to go into. Number one, how do you bring in your loans? And number two, you hired a brand new person when you are used to working with a seasoned, well-oiled machine. Let's go down that direction first. So,
Okay.
so you found yourself without a team, and you went, all
Yes,
right,
sir.
here's Jonas. Uh, who's the first position? I don't need a name per se, but the first position that you hired, what was that, and where'd you
So
find it?
on day one, Robin teamed me up with an LP1 that works in her office.
Tell me what tell me if they're not familiar, tell me what an LP1 is.
So an LP1 is a loan partner one, and he helps me with everything leads.
So from a lead to a contract, that person's got the
Yes,
the
sir.
point. Okay.
He is there. I text him the second I get a lead, no matter where I'm at in the country. I text it right to him. He is talking to him on the phone. He is helping me gather if I don't do that, and he's helping me gather documents all the way through
Is,
contract.
is he is he taking the application?
About 80% of the time, yes. I'm still working on those control issues, but yes, sir.
And who's choosing the program and choosing the rate? Him or
That
you?
is my LP2. She is absolutely fantastic. Once we get it pre-approved, she is on the phone with the pre-approval call all the way through closing.
All right, so you got one person taking the application from lead to contract, so to speak,
Yes,
and
sir.
then you got another person that's taking it from contract to close. Some people would say, "Well, Jonas, what are you doing?"
My whole job, as they keep reminding me over and over and over, is do what I do best, or as they scream at me, Jonas, stay in your lane. I am here to generate leads and meet as many people out in the public as I possibly can.
Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. Very interesting. So, a lot of people would say then, Jonas, that you're really playing the role of a business development rep. Like you're
You, you know, it's funny, Carl. That was my official title when I started here at Summit Funding 11 years ago.
interesting. Interesting. So yeah, you're the title rep. You know what? You're the title rep that comes to my office. So we have a title company down the road, gets a good portion of my business. And there's a lady down there. I've known her for 25 years, pops in my office, laughs at my jokes, tells me how smart I am, right? And you know, when I send a title, when I'm doing a refi, and I recommend them to do the title work, my guess is 0 times out of 100, she's the one doing the title search or anything like that whatsoever because
Absolutely.
she's out visiting offices, laughing at their jokes, telling them how amazing they are. And I'm simplifying that, of course, somewhat tongue in cheek, but somewhat not tongue in cheek. So really, that's your kind of primary role. Your role is to bring in new business, period, into the
And
team.
And it's wonderful, Carl, because I get to look at you and go, Carl, I am the PT Barnum of the team. I am here to bring you into the office. My name's on the door. My name's this and that and the other. But I want to put you with the smartest human being that I know in mortgage. She knows more than most underwriters, and I mean that all
Yeah.
sincerely. Would you rather talk to me or at the end of the day with the numbers? I want you to know at the end of the day you're very well taken care of. Michelle's going to give you a call, and here we go. And Carl, you're tickled. You're absolutely happy. And I tell them, kind of like when you go to the doctor, 90% of your time's not going to be with me. I'm just going to come in and check up at the end, make sure everything's going good, call you during the middle. But 90% of my time is out. My whole lane is get more leads in the door. And I know exactly how many leads I have to average a month to hit my goals.
All right. So, do you ever, in the beginning, when you start working with a new agent, let's say it's a listing agent, and they end up starting to send you referrals. Do you have to explain to them, by the way, you're not actually going to be calling me, you're going to be calling Bob in my office?
Absolutely not. The agents I always want talking to me. So my agents, unless there is a problem with their loan, my agents have my LP2's phone number. They can call her at any time. But as far as anything with leads or otherwise, I absolutely want them calling me in the communication me. I'm going to the events with them. I'm checking in their offices. I'm out and about with them all the time. They will only talk to my LP2 once that client is under contract.
Interesting. So the lead comes to you, but then you're not the person actually talking to them. Somebody else in your office when that
I
actually.
do a quick introduction call. Hello, it's Jonas Rosenberg at Summit. I'm stepping into a meeting, but I wanted to call and introduce myself and see if I can ask you just a couple of questions so I kind of get an idea. But the
Mhm.
most important question that I want to know from them, are they trying to go under contract today?
Mhm.
If they are standing at a house and they're trying to go under contract, then the process changes. But if they're not, if they're just trying to get qualified and everything else, Process is the same every time. I introduce, I make sure they have my cell phone, and I let them know that my LP1 will be calling.
So, and I'm doing some quick math here. So, if we're at 70 units and give or take, we're 11 months. And so that's in the neighborhood of 6 to 7 closings per month you're having right
Yes,
now.
sir.
My guess is some months are 12 and some months might be 5, but
Yes, sir.
somewhere in that neighborhood, like 7-ish. How many leads do you need each month to make that happen?
So for this year, 2025, I knew that I needed 50 leads. But even more important, when Robin was coaching me, she reminded me the second step, I needed to know my conversion. Leads are sexy, but if you don't have an application and a credit pull, it doesn't mean anything. So I knew I needed 50%, 50 leads with 80% conversion, which means credit pull.
And so when you do 50 leads, I'm going to do it live here. So 50 leads, and we have an 80% credit pull, that'd be 40. So we need 40 credit pulls to close 7 units, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's always the goal. Of course, we don't hit it every month. We try, but that's the goal.
All right. Well, you hit it enough to average 6 to 7 units a month. So I'll give you that. So how do you do that? Like how do you generate 40, 50 leads a month?
My favorite sign in this business is better known beats better. And I never knew what that meant until Jimmy started screaming highly active and highly visible. And I'm like, but wait a minute, that's what I do. Carl, I love being out of the office. Too many of my students sit behind a desk every day and wait for the phone to ring or wait for an order to come in.
Hmm.
And they're trying to find me, and I'm at a concert or I don't do golf courses, but I love being at realtor events. I love being in front of people. When a student starts off and they go, Jonas, what should I do first? I'm like, join a bowling league. And they're like, why? And I said, most bowling alleys have 24 lanes with 5 people. That's 120 people that you get to meet with every week. Be visible. So if you ever watch me during a week, I love being in front of people, and I'm genuinely tired when I get home because that's what I do. And the way I see it is that better known beats better. It comes true every single time is when people think of mortgage, I want them to think of me.
Hmm. So would you say, so it sounds like the vast majority of your time is spent the marketing of your product,
Yes, sir.
right? Uh,
And which my product is myself. Yes, sir.
okay, okay. I like that. I like that. So in my case, I mean, I've personally funded and I've been paid on, uh, at this point, I've been paid on, gosh, thousands and thousands of loans in my career.
That's
Right?
insane.
So
Good
yeah,
for you, man.
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, and I'm not saying this out of pride or recommendation or anything, it's just the way it is. I never really learned that much about loans, like truth be known. I was definitely not the most knowledgeable about all the guidelines of anybody in the office, for sure. In fact, I mean, short of the receptionist, I was probably the weak link in the chain on guidelines and loan programs and whatnot. Because I found that the marketing of the products, i.e., somebody needing to borrow money, the marketing was for me more important than the actual nuts and bolts, as long as, of course, I don't go around spewing that I do know everything or thinking I do when I know that I don't. And so giving people
Absolutely.
bad information. And as long as I have a tip top person in my office that knows the guidelines, knows the guidelines like the back of their hand, in the office. So I never really learned like loan programs that much. Anyway, that was a long story, wasn't necessary to tell. My question was, do you spend much time learning? Do you learn? Do you spend a lot of time learning loan programs, or are you kind of like I was or am, and spend most of my time the actual marketing of it, relying on my team to know how to fix the air conditioner?
I'm 100% the way you are. My coaches tell me I probably know more than I play off to,
Yeah, I
but
agree with that. Mhm.
I'm we've talked so much this year, and the growth of this year has been what my lane is.
Hmm.
And this has been the biggest growth because I was so used to crossing into my teammates' lanes and clogging up the works, if you will. And
Hmm.
it took the Eugene group, it took Robin, it took Dave, and of course, it took my two partners to really bang away at me. Jonas, stay in your lane, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. And it's crazy, Carl. December is going to be our best month as a group. December.
Good for
But
you.
it's not, has the market changed or has the rates done anything? It's we're slowly and surely growing as a team. And they told me it would take 2 years to get back to where we were. We're slowly and surely getting better and better and better. And January looks great too. But the biggest thing is if you've watched my activity over the last month, it's back to doing what I did best. My old partner told me, Jonas, we'll take care of the back end. You just go meet the people. And
Hmm.
whenever you hear that somebody's looking for a loan, bring it in and we'll knock it out of the park. And that was the best part of my job is I got to set the ball out of the team or set the ball into the tee for the team and the team knocked it out of the park. And my new team is starting after about a year to fire on complete cylinders. And it's kind of great when I stay in my own lane.
Where do you get most of your referrals from?
Absolutely current client and past client referrals. Realtors comes in number three, where you most loan officers you hear that upside, but I spend so much time promoting first time homebuyer classes out in the community with events and spend so much time promoting to my current clients and past clients. I get a ton of those.
So when you say you presenting to first time home buyers, how do you get butts in chairs? Like who's attracting those people?
So in the state of Washington, Carl, to use their bond program, it's mandatory that you take a class. You can either do it online or you can go to a class with a state approved teacher. A long time ago, I went and got accredited to teach their program, and I spend an amazing amount of time advertising that program in my two communities, and have been very honored to say I've been one of the preferred lenders for the state with this program for however many years.
So you get most of your stuff from doing these. Are these in person or are
Yes,
they?
sir.
So they're in person. And
During COVID, they moved away to the on the screen, and boy, were those hard.
yeah, I bet. Are you the one that invites the consumer to it, or the state is inviting the
The
consumer to it?
state does. The consumer can go on the website and find it, but I spend a lot of time promoting it myself and promoting it in my community that hey, these exist. If you're stuck renting or if you never believe that you're going to be able to achieve, please come check out this wonderful class through the state. So the one thing that I tell my students when they try to do a class like this, don't just throw it up against the wall and hope people magically show up. It's not Field of Dreams, my friends. This is a contact sport. We got to get out there and promote our stuff. And through Facebook market, or excuse me, through Facebook marketing, through I used to do radio before COVID, and then through other avenues, a lot of past client pushing. We probably average about 20 people for a class, which is very, very good here.
But again, is the state putting most of those 20 people in the room?
No, sir. No, sir. The state allows me to post it up on their website and they show consumers where to go to if they're looking through the internet. But locally, I think it'd be fair to say that I put about 70% of the people in the room.
No kidding. Are you doing it mainly through Facebook ads, getting people to show up to those events? Is it your word of mouth through past database? Like how are you getting most of those people to show up?
The Facebook ads used to work really well, but I'm noticing strangeness in the algorithms lately. I'm not
Yeah.
getting what I used to, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out with our marketing person. But once again, a lot of it is through current client referrals and past client referrals. I advertise the class every single month to them, and then of course to the local realtors. I'm happy if they're using another lender or another realtor. Come on into the class. The more energy for me, the better.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I've spent like literally millions of my own dollars running social media ads, and they've worked really well.
Yes,
The
sir.
problem with that is I'm somebody else's decision away from being out of business. So if Facebook changes the algorithm by, hey, you can't show those ads anymore, if they make that
And it's what's
decision,
happened in the last year. That's
it's
so very
exactly
true.
what's happened. And it's like, and when they flick the switch, it's off. And or if I get in Facebook jail, luckily I haven't done that, but I've had some really sharp people that were good people somehow and if you ask them what'd you do, I don't know.
They don't know.
And
Yeah,
and
I have had
and
a friend that it wasn't political. It was he was absolutely minding his P's and Q's, and then all of a sudden he's in Facebook jail. And you're absolutely right; it shut him down.
yeah, and it's like, all right, well that's so I like Facebook advertising and I like Facebook like social media marketing, but boy, that would not be my primary or my certainly not my only source of business because I'm somebody else's decision away from one decision away from going out of business.
I see a lot of folks that promote these events, and that's exactly what they do. They put it up on Facebook and they hope and pray. Well, that's exactly what you're going to get at the end of the day if you're
Yeah,
not hustling. Carl, we went into a town right outside of Tri Cities a couple of years ago, and we literally went door to door with our flyers. And
interesting.
people are going, Jonas, do you think you're going to get anything from that? I'm like, my gosh, if I go to the businesses and if they have any employees that were ever even just thinking about buying a house, and I
Mhm.
asked every business, could you please put this up in your break room? Carl, we had 19 people for a first class in a brand new small little town. I was tickled to death.
Good for you, man. Good for you, buddy. Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of hustle. Hey, brother, I could continue this for another hour.
You've
Uh,
been wonderful. Thank you. I enjoy this.
yeah, but I try to keep these to. Most people are listening to this while they're on the treadmill, walking the dog,
Sure.
at the grocery store, driving to work, that kind of thing. So I try to keep that in mind. Um, so so we've got a large audience listening to this. Some of them seasoned pros, some of them middle of the road, some of them brand new this month. With that in mind, give me one action item. So if somebody that's listening to this, say, boy, whatever you do, make sure you what?
For me, whatever you do when you walk in Monday morning, I want you to find 5 1 hour time blocks that are empty during your week. Open up your calendar, stare at your week, and I want you to fill them. Remember, too many people say I have to go see a realtor for an hour. Well, most realtors are busy. They don't want to give you an hour. I want you to go after HR directors. I want you to go after companies that have more than 50 employees. I want you to go after anyone that could provide you business. Most people forget that everyone knows somebody who wants to buy a house. Go get out, get visible, and remind people this is what I do for a living. Carl, the greatest insult I've ever had in the business is when my cousin closed a house with someone else. And he looked at me and he goes, Jonas, I didn't know you did that. And I'm
Yeah,
banging my head against the desk, realizing it's my fault that he didn't know.
yeah. I love it, man. Good stuff, man. Hey, what's next?
As far as what?
You tell me what's next.
What's next for me?
Yeah.
As I told Todd, he goes, how many more years? I said, buddy, as long as I can keep coaching for you and helping people, I owe, my gosh, Carl, I was a bowling alley shoe spray guy 15 years ago. I
Mm,
am now sitting in this world wherever I am, and I owe everything that I am to the Robins, to the Todds, to the Jims, to all the coaches that helped me up the hill.
mm.
And if I can be giving back for the next however many years, put me in, coach. I'm ready.
Yeah. I find I'm so grateful for the people that put me under their wing
Amen.
and such a gift. And I think it's so important to honor those people that have brought us along the way and guided us and mentored us. And yeah, I would have, it, it would take lifetimes for me to figure all this stuff out by myself when all I got to do is just hang out with somebody that's already there and ask them, so how'd you do it? And oddly enough, they'll tell you.
And Carl, that's the biggest thing that I tell young people is please find the guy in the office that you thinks it's killing it and ask him if you can pick their brain for 20 minutes. Even if you
Hmm.
can't afford a coach right now, go and just find the guy that's absolutely killing it and go, can I just ask you how you're doing this? I don't
Yeah.
want to take your stuff. I want to follow you.
Yeah. It never ceases to amaze me. I'll be talking with somebody and they're doing extremely well and they'll tell me what they're doing. I go, okay. Usually it's pretty simple, right?
Yes, sir.
And they're just consistent with it and accountable to making sure it happens. And I'll ask them, do you have other loan officers in your office? Yep. Do they know what you're doing? Yep. Are they closing the same number you are? Nope. And they know what you're doing? Yep. How many of them are doing what you're doing? None of them.
That's right.
Never ceases to amaze me.
That's right.
What
And
do you?
it goes back to your point earlier. Everybody's trying the new flashy thing that somebody said, "Hey, go do this," and you have the guy that's been doing it the same way for 20 years. Don't tell me about your fantastic this year. Tell me about your fantastic years for 5 years in a row, and then I'll believe in what you're doing works.
Mm, good stuff, man. Hey, Jonas, thanks, brother.
It's been an honor, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you on here. So, if somebody wants to say hello to you or something like that, what's the best way to connect up with you?
I'm happy to give my cell phone number. It's the
I,
easiest
I
way to
wouldn't, I
find me.
wouldn't, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
um, Probably my email. Shoot me an
Is there,
email.
is there a website or something social
Not
media?
they can always find me on social media. I'm huge on social media. They can shoot me out there, but no direct way.
All right, I'll put a link here in the show notes to Facebook, LinkedIn, both, neither.
They, yes, sir.
To
All of them.
all right, perfect. We'll put a link into that. So, good stuff, Jonas. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Carl.